Almighty God, by whom alone kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above to direct and guide us in all our consultations. And grant that we, having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, the result of all our counsel may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the king, the public weal, peace and tranquility of the island, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Call of the roll. Mr. Clark, Mr. Bartlett, Mr. Holness, Dr. Clark, Dr. Chang, Ms. Grange, Mrs. Williams, Mrs. Malahoo Fort, Dr. Tufton, Mr. Mackenzie, Mr. Chuck, Mr. Vaz, Mr. Charles, Mr. Green, Mr. Warmington, Mr. Morgan, Mr. Hutchinson, Mr. Terrelong, Ms. Smith, Dr. Dunn, Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn, Mr. Main, Mr. Davis, Mr. Whittle, Mr. Brown, Dr. Brownberg, Dr. Charles, Mr. Chin, Mr. Cousins, Ms. Crawford, Ms. Daly, Ms. Davis, Mr. Golding, Mr. Graham, Dr. Guy, Ms. Hamilton, Ms. Hannah, Mr. Enriquez, Mr. Henry, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Lawrence, Ms. Lee, Mr. Miller, Mr. Montague, Ms. Morrison, Mrs. Nita Garvey, Mr. Paulwell, Mr. Phillips, Dr. Phillips, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Samuda, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Siblis, Mr. Slowly, Mrs. Vaz, Dr. Wheatley, Mr. Williams, Mr. Wilson, and Mr. Wright. Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn? Okay.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to today's sitting, Wednesday, October 4, 2023. I noticed earlier in the gallery 5 students from Bridgeport High School and their teacher, one parent accompanying as well. Bridgeport High School is the alma mater for the member from St. Catherine, Southeastern, Mr. Robert Miller, who will be speaking today. So Bridgeport High School, a very special welcome to you. Very special welcome to your teacher and parent here today. Thank you for being at Parliament to share today's session with us. To all the other members sitting in the gallery, I noticed there are quite a few persons out today. Welcome to today's sitting. And to those who are watching us on television, PBCJ, all the other social media platforms, it is our pleasure to have you looking at the session on live from your various spaces. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, we on this side would like to join with you in welcoming the students from Bridgeport High School that are here, and to hope that they will get a good sense of what the Parliament of the land is, and certainly they are here to listen to their Member of Parliament, give an account of his stewardship in the constituency, which includes them. And I know that, you know, to deepen democracy, Madam Speaker, it entails access by our young people in particular to the workings of Parliament and to understand it. You know, in some jurisdictions, Madam Speaker, the democracy is so deep that even children have what is called a mock election. And that's a good way of instilling in them these deeper values of democracy and understanding the value of choice and how important making the right decisions are. And so I'd like to see more, in fact, of the students coming through the Parliament over time and to participate in the gallery in the structured and organized and ordered way that the parliamentary tradition or the parliamentary tradition suggests. So, Madam Speaker, for today's sitting, we will be focusing on the State of the Constituency debate, and of course, the Speaker, you have already indicated, will be the member from Southeast St. Catherine. May it please you, therefore, Madam Speaker, to proceed with the agenda as stated.
There are very few items on the agenda for today. It should be a short sitting. So I'll call statement by ministers, announcement. Bills brought from the Senate, petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally, questions and answers to questions, motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice, motions relating to sitting of the House, motions for leave to introduce bills, presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained, public business. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, as indicated, the item for today is a presentation by the member from Southeastern St. Catherine. But before that, Madam Speaker, you recall yesterday that we had a very active, if not animated, discussion with regards to the timeline given to members, particularly for parliamentarians who have to give account of their stewardship in their constituency. And the good news that many have, that there's much to say. And much to say because of a good government that has done so much that enables presentations to be even extended. So, Madam Speaker, in that context, I'd like to indicate the continuation of the debate, and in the motion to ask Madam Speaker that the standing orders, Section 32C(3), be suspended to enable the members making their contributions during this debate to continue their speeches for 30 minutes. notwithstanding the limit on the speeches that we have. And Madam Speaker, this is an amendment, Madam Speaker, that we're seeking to enable the level of efficiencies that we talk about that this House must assume as we go forward. And it's going to be part of the broader program that you and I and the leader of the opposition business in the House are committed to ensure that this Parliament is not just functional and efficient, but that we do give members an opportunity to speak and to speak effectively in the interest of their constituency, because that's why they're here. And so we will insist, however, Madam Speaker, that 30 minutes is the period for a speaker in this instance. May it please you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, House Leader. Parliament, the question is that the standing orders be suspended to enable the making of the contribution in respect of constituency debates, a motion to allow speeches for 30 minutes, notwithstanding the limit on speeches of Standing Orders 32C3. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. I therefore call upon the designated contributor, Robert Miller, the member from St. Catherine, Southeastern.
Madam Speaker, I thank God for the gift of life and also for giving me this opportunity to serve. I'm guided by Luke 2, verse 52, which states, "And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man." Let me first thank you, Madam Speaker, and congratulate you for giving me this opportunity, and to the Most Honorable Prime Minister, Andrew Michael Holness, for your continuous advice, your foresight, and vision as leader for the great Jamaica Labour Party, and your steward leadership in the governance of our beautiful country, Jamaica. Madam Speaker, I acknowledge my constituents, some of which are in the gallery this afternoon. Special acknowledgement goes to Councillor Corney Edwards and my 4 councillors in waiting, Krisha Holmes, Tashai Rose, Dwayne Banks, and Mr. Raymond Jack. I must acknowledge as well Councillors Kennard Grant from the Bridgeport Division, Finley Douglas from the Waterford Division, Rainier Benjamin from the Westchester Division, and I was told to bring greetings on behalf of the Deputy Mayor, the Councillor for the Edgewater Division, Alric Campbell. For the short time they will be there. The management, executive, and workers of this great constituency, my former secretary, Ms. Andrea Smith, current secretary, Ms. Shalita Evans, my driver, Mr. Sean Brown, last but not least, Madam Speaker, my beautiful wife for 16 years, the marvelous Kristen Miller, and my son, Liam Drayson, who both have been deprived of family time for the call of national duty, and this I must say thanks. The title of my presentation today, Madam Speaker, is Building Life Stronger Together. Madam Speaker, education is dear to my heart. Over 110 tertiary students were recipients of tertiary grant to the tune of over $4 million. Book vouchers are always high in demand. We want to thank the Minister of Finance for the amount given to us, in which we purchased vouchers for over $3.5 million. Additional funds are available for students in the need of CSEC and CAPE fees. Additional backpacks, books, and other supplies were given. Majority, Madam Speaker, of the CDF go towards education as we continue to enhance lives. The constituency is blessed with some of the finest institutions. The Ministry of Education and Youth have assisted tremendously in the development of these institutions. Madam Speaker, since I became Member of Parliament, every year we have been awarded with government scholarships to our primary institutions in the constituency. Madam Speaker, last year we received a government scholarship at Southborough Primary. Last year we received a government scholarship at Portsmouth Primary, first in a long time. And the last 3 consecutive years, we received government scholarship to Southborough Primary. This year, Madam Speaker, the scholarship was given to the son from the member of South Manchester, Robert Chin. His son received a government scholarship from Southborough Primary. I would like to take this opportunity to big up Mrs. Orton and Mr. Carlisle Thompson's principals, respectively, and their team for a job well done. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, I'd like to congratulate all the principals, administrators, clerical staff, teachers at these institutions who have been there to mold the minds of the students within their care. I am proud to announce, Madam Speaker, being my alma mater, and it's a privilege to be representing my alma mater in the constituency that I represent. I'm a proud graduate of Bridgeport High School. Madam Speaker, just this year, June, we broke ground for the expansion of a new block at the Bridgeport High School. And some of the students and teachers are present this afternoon. This, Madam Speaker, will satisfy the government trust to eliminate the school shift system. And this is projected to be by next academic year. Madam Speaker, special thanks to Minister Favour Williams and her team. They too were present at the groundbreaking. Thanks, Minister Williams, for your passion, drive, and caring attitude towards your portfolio while taking tangible steps in the Ministry of Education and Youth. I am aware of the leaking issues at the Southborough and Waterford primary schools. The perimeter fencing at the Bridgeport and Portsmouth primary. Rest assured, I am working assiduously to rectify these issues. Madam Speaker, all 3 high schools in the constituency, Cumberland, Bridgeport, and Waterford High, benefited from the ministry with computers to retrofit their computer labs through my intervention. Madam Speaker, education and skill training are on track in Southeast St. Catherine as we continue to invest in our youth development and build life stronger together. Madam Speaker, the issue of sewage and water. This has been a long-standing problem with sewage in the constituency. In the last Prime Minister's sectoral debate in Parliament, March of this year, he said, and I quote, "NWC will spend in excess of 900 million to ensure more efficient pumping operations while also deploying more renewable energy within their operations." The National Water Commission, in pursuing strategic investment in new and expanded sanitary sewage system to facilitate development of populated areas such as Falmouth, Negril, downtown Kingston, St. Andrew, and southeast St. Catherine, Portmore, end of quote. Madam Speaker, the citizens of the constituency need their fair share. For too long, the citizens are living in filth. Some cannot stay in their homes because they are suffering from respiratory issues caused by the odor that is coming from the sewage collapse, in particular, Passage Fort, Bridgeview, and its environs. On September 15th, 2023, the Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Honorable Matthew Samuda, made a tour in the constituency and saw the issues firsthand and has taken steps to ratify some of these issues that were brought to his attention by the residents and myself. Madam Speaker, some of the work has started. I crave the patience of these citizens as we strive to relieve them of this stress that they are enduring. I am confident that these issues, Madam Speaker, of sewage that plague the constituency for so long will be resolved in short order. Yes. Madam Speaker, a community by the name of Penway, since its existence, have been without running water. Councillor Corner Edwards and myself met with a team at National Water Commission. We had a meeting with the residents on Monday, September 18th, along with the staff of the National Water Commission. I'm proud to advise that within the next 2 weeks, the residents will have running water in their pipes. As long, Madam Speaker, as they register for same at a reduced rate by the National Water Commission. Madam Speaker, we will absolutely build in lives as we work stronger together. Right, Julian? Transformational. Housing. The discussion is ongoing with the Ministry of Housing. We had a walkthrough and meetings with the citizens in the constituency, areas such as Portmore Gardens, famously called Rat Town, a name, Madam Speaker, that I hope will be eradicated from the people's mind, and this community will reflect the true beauty of the people of Portmore Gardens. Other areas identified for transformation to formal settlements are Penway, Merkaway, 48, Fort Drive Land, and parts of Portmore Lane. I will continue to lobby to ensure that the citizens of these areas receive their title in their hand. Madam Speaker, the new social housing program provides sustainable housing solutions to citizens island-wide. I believe it's a great program, however, not beneficial to the constituency that I represent, due to the fact that one of the criteria is that the land must be within the constituency, which is very lacking, hence has proven to be an issue. Madam Speaker, hope is not lost. There are 2 areas in the constituency that I would like to develop with the social housing program. An area that is affectionately called 48 or land, and an area where we found some land that is owned by the government, which I wish not to speak much of today. Let us, secret weapon. Letters were written to the Most Honorable Prime Minister to see how best we could organize these areas and develop proper infrastructure and units for the citizens that I serve. Madam Speaker, we're building lives, foundations stronger together. Madam Speaker, I now turn to green areas and parks. Although this is the jurisdiction of the local government, the citizens are craving for green areas. It's not for want of not lobbying with the councillors and the municipal council, but this has proven futile. Madam Speaker, under my watch, I have started a drive to develop these parks. I have some private interests. It is my intention to engage the Portmore City Municipal Council again with the hope that they would give their approval to develop these green areas. Madam Speaker, the parcel of land that is affectionately called Climate Park will be transformed soon to the Resilient Park. Madam Speaker, it has been too long. The citizens have been waiting for years. And rest assured, I will get it done. Madam Speaker, we had some delays with the Portmore City Municipal Council. That obstacle was passed. And in short order, groundbreaking will commence on the Resilient Park later this year. Madam Speaker, I would like to strongly encourage the Portmore City Municipal Council to bring some order to the face of Portmore. Yes. The area by Portmore Mall needs to be better organized. Yes. The Oricum Taxi Park that the Portmore City Municipal Council created like Nicodemus in the night needs to be developed with more amenities, bathrooms, security services, and lights, and in itself will eradicate the lawlessness, and then the citizens can feel safer and secure to enter the park to get their means of transportation to their various locations. We are encouraging them to bring order to Portmore. Madam Speaker, thanks to Minister Bartlett, the best tourism minister that the Western Hemisphere has ever seen. I'm still waiting on him to develop Port Henderson Road, your famous strip. But the allocation, Madam, your famous spot, right? But the allocation, Madam Speaker, that was given to each member of Parliament through TPDCO was used to install a walking track in the community of Cumberland Meadows. The Citizen Association wrote to request it. My councillor in waiting, Ms. Tashai Rose, lobbied for it. And she used some of our personal donation to make this a reality. The Portmore Municipal Council gave the approval after a year, and the citizens eventually received their walking tracks. Thanks on behalf of the Citizen Minister of Cumberland Meadows. Bridgeport Business Complex. Madam Speaker, for years, this area has been in dire state of disrepair. I've listened to the people, read the letters that were written from the president of the Bridgeport Citizen Association, Mrs. Nicole Grizzly Francis, and my councillor in waiting for the Bridgeport Division, Mr. Dwayne Banky Eubanks. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank Minister Warmington and his team at the National Work Agency, in particular Mr. Ounter, Downer, and Sturridge, for making the resurfacing of this complex a reality. For over 40 years, the citizens have been waiting on this project. They are extremely thankful, and for this I say thanks. The complex, Madam Speaker, hosts the post office, the Bridgeport Dental Clinic, and the Bridgeport Police Station. The police station got a facelift thanks to Minister Chang on his intervention. The post office also received a facelift after my interaction with Minister Vaz, and it was done. And work will commence soon on the Bridgeport Dental Office from the funding that was made available from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Ministers, thanks for your support. More work needs to be done, but promise made, Madam Speaker, promise delivered. Madam Speaker, without a doubt, St. Catharines Southeastern will be a model constituency to live, work, and raise families as we build lives together stronger. Madam Speaker, sports is big on my agenda. In Southeast St. Catherine, we had our sports extravaganza. We had a wonderful time together as a constituency. The family came out in their numbers to cheer on their division in football, netball, dandy shandy, marbles, and dominoes. Of course I did. I did. At the end, there they are. At the end of these events, Madam Speaker, Westchester Division was declared the winner. I must mention as well that there are plans afoot to transform the famous Jam World into a mini stadium and an entertainment zone. Madam Speaker, we had many intensive meetings with Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange, and we want to thank her for her insight, her passion, and commitment to her portfolio. And we, the citizens, are grateful for your gesture, Minister, and we're looking forward towards this venture in the near future. Madam Speaker, with my discussion with the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie, and he's always trying to see how best he could enhance the constituency and Portmore and the Sweetie Bag. Madam Speaker, I'm encouraging the Portmore City Municipal Council to do the work that the citizens elected them to do. Portmore needs proper management, and a state-of-art market is needed. Madam Speaker, we are asking them to answer the call from the minister by finding suitable lands that the ministry can build a state-of-the-art market for the citizens of Portmore. We understand that the Aki village is there, but it cannot hold the magnitude of people that are selling on the sidewalks at Portmore Mall and in the constituency. And we want to ensure that the citizens can get their fresh produce within Portmore itself. So encourage the citizens and come up with engage the citizens and come up with a suitable location to have our market. The citizens deserve it. Roads, Madam Speaker, they are in bad state within the constituency. Majority of these roads are parochial, which is the jurisdiction of the Portmore City Municipal Council. But, Madam Speaker, the residents don't care about that. They are saying that it's the MP's responsibility. We have been pleading to the Portmore City Municipal Council to repair these roads so the citizens can travel in and out their communities comfortably, safely, and in a timely manner. Madam Speaker, the most honorable Prime Minister, a visionary leader, announced the legacy program through our National Housing Trust, that the trust should revisit these communities and redevelop the areas. Madam Speaker, I have 4 such communities: Portsmouth, Westchester, Cumberland, and Westmead. I am pleased to announce that Portsmouth has already gotten their facelift and the citizens are happy. I am also cognizant of the fact that residents are complaining that their roads were not done. I will do my best to lobby the various agencies to see how best we can resurface some of these roads. Madam Speaker, I know that the project will be implemented through the Portmore City Municipal Council. Contracts have been signed for Westchester and Cumberland for over a year now, and work is yet to commence. I am asking the Portmore City Municipal Council, what is the hold-up? Is it that you're waiting for an election to be called? Then you try to fool the people? That's an initiative of the Municipal Council? Madam Speaker, for years, the Portmore City Municipal Council have been fooling the people, but they cannot continue to fool the people all the time. I just got news about Westmead, and in short order, work will commence in the Westmead community. Madam Speaker, we need our communities to be resurfaced. Transport. We want to thank the government, in particular Minister Darrell Vaz and former Minister Audley Shaw, for a smooth rollout of the 50 buses that came just in time for the new academic year. The citizens of the constituency got some relief. However, I still lobby for the citizens of Waterford. We are requesting to reinstate the dedicated route in Waterford that traverses Arthur to downtown Kingston. You see, Madam Speaker, the 3A buses traverse Arthur, Waterford, and then to Caymanas Gardens. And the number 3 buses traverse downtown Waterford, then Caymanas Garden. However, sometimes the JISTV buses would not make the stop in Waterford, especially when they are full coming from Caymanas Gardens to Arthur and downtown respectively. Madam Speaker, this leaves my people stranded, some of which have to walk to the bottom of the community, which is approximately 1.5 miles. Madam Speaker, I'm petitioning on their behalf, and I know the minister will look into it as we have some discussion on same. The same applies to the citizens from Garveymead and Westchester. There is a need for more number 8 buses. Residents wait for hours at the transport depot in their communities to get a bus. Therefore, Minister, I'm just asking that you will look into this. Madam Speaker, I've written to the Minister of Transport, and lands have been identified as a proposed area where a state-of-the-art Island Traffic Authority office can be established. We had discussion with former Minister Shaw on this matter, and it was needed. Madam Speaker, the citizens of the constituency deserve the best, and the residents of Portmore in general would benefit greatly. It is difficult, Madam Speaker, to traverse to Spanish Town or Kingston to do the fitness on their car. or to drive for their driver's license. We are lobbying the government of Jamaica through the minister, and I'm confident that Minister Vaz will get it done. We have achieved a lot, and many more things need to be done to make our communities in St. Catharines Southeastern a better place. I have not been sitting down, Madam Speaker, twiddling my thumbs. Madam Speaker, I have been engaging my constituents. I have been working for my people and will continue to be an activist for them. Madam Speaker, they are my extended family. We will continue to work together to ensure that we have good roads, better sewage lines, outstanding schools for our children, an effective transport system, and more amenities to ensure that our constituency is a model one. I want to place on record my profound gratitude to the government of Jamaica through the various agencies, thanks to the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Michael Holness, for your steady hand, your passion, tenacity, and vision in leading the great Jamaica Labour Party and our beloved country, Jamaica. My Southeast St. Catherine family, I love you dearly. May God continue to bless you all. May God continue to bless the people of Southeast St. Catherine, and may God continue to bless our country, Jamaica.
Member of Parliament for St. Catharines Southeastern, that is an excellent example of what we would like to see in ongoing constituency debates. Perfect use of the time available, right on time. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I really want to echo your sentiments in this regard, because I think that this is really what we are about, and I am fully convinced that in order for a speech to be everlasting, it need not be eternal. So I think you should know that, and hopefully you will apply that. So, Madam Speaker, I think the tone has been set. And in keeping with the amendment to Standing Orders 23C that we did today, I'm satisfied that the way forward will reflect this. And it is a very, very good way of our showing to the country that we can manage their affairs with precision, with dignity, and also with decorum, because the response on either side today was in fact exemplary. And I think that this is the way forward. It's a new way. And Madam Speaker, we look forward to strengthening the arrangements as we make this Parliament a stronger place and indeed the repository of the highest tradition of democracy in our land. Madam Speaker, it's not intended to do any further business today. And on the motion of adjournment, as I ask for suspension of the State of Constituency debate today, I'd just like to indicate that we are encouraging members on both sides to ensure that we do have a fulsome presentations in the days designated for the debates. I must say that the program that we have, although it covers almost everyone, we want to see more participation in a given day, so that we can, in fact, get through within. Members? Yes. So, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to indicate further that we want this session to be concluded ahead of the Christmas break in order to really put into motion the private members' motion discussions that we have indicated to the House will become a feature now of the second phase of our sessional activities. We are quite cognizant of the fact, Madam Speaker, that enough has not been done in this area, and we are committed to ensuring that there is a greater sense of participation of all members through private members' motion. And so hopefully private members' motions, the debating of private members' motion. We have too many that are on the order paper that are not yet dealt with and completed. So we're looking forward to that as we conclude the State of the Nation debate, State of the Constituency debate within this period of the session of Parliament. In other words, we don't want it to go over into the last session, because that last session is usually taken up with preparation for budget. And so we look forward to all members participating and participating well. Madam Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of this House. Hold on. Yes. You'll be able to speak, but just the motion has to be put. Yes.
House Leader, before you move for the adjournment, the question is that the State of the Constituency debate be suspended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And that's the order that is required. Yes. So, Madam Speaker, in the motion of adjournment, I beg to move that this Honorable House be adjourned until Tuesday, October 10th at 2 p.m. at the George William Gordon House. May it please the Madam Speaker.
So, House Leader, if you move for adjournment, then it is on
the motion for adjournment, I wanted to just address one small point that was made by the leader of government business. I welcome the idea that we will move to take the private members' motion speedily. As you know, there are 4 members in the House who have motions that are at about 3 years old, and probably another 4 that have motions that are about 2 years old, and a few from last year. I say that because I welcome the move, but I would not want to welcome it without putting on record that those of us, including myself, who have been waiting for 3 years for the motion to come to Parliament, I want this to be the new mode of operations, and that we do not regress to where we have been before.
Thank you, Opposition Leader.
Madam Speaker, just a bit. No, Madam Speaker, you know, one of the things that we don't do very well with sometimes is grandstanding. Because in fact, I think we all have been seized with this very important imperative of enabling private members' motion to happen. The House, the business of the House over time has been overtaken by legislative and other activities that has made that not as necessary. And this is the first time. This is the first time that the House is taking a position, because the standing orders allow for private members' motion to be taken on a Thursday when House doesn't meet between 5 and 7 p.m. And this leader, along with the Speaker, we have agreed, and on that side too, the leader of opposition business have agreed that yes, we should create special window for this within the 2-day period that normally is utilized for Parliament, and not Thursday at 5 to 7 p.m. when nobody meets. So, Madam Speaker, I take note of what she has said in the spirit of perhaps how she intended to say it, and not necessarily how she said it. May it please you, Madam.
No, hold on. That will never be permitted in this house. No. So please wait to be acknowledged and for your mic to be turned on, member and acting leader of opposition business in the house. I am going to turn on your mic. I was actually going to add a comment to the house leader's statement. And that is why I had not yet turned on your mic. So I will say to the House, as Speaker, I would have also, even as Deputy Speaker, been encouraged to facilitate, to agree to the amendment to the standing order to allow for private members' motion. It is something that has been observed by the leader, Prime Minister, by the leader of government business in the House. Previously, the standing order, which held for all the years that we have been in Parliament, had our private members' motion on a Thursday from 5 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock in the evening. What has happened is that because of the standing order, as time went by, it was observed that private members' motions were just not being heard and would have contributed to the observation by Member Brownberg in respect of 3 years, 2 years wait to have private members' motions held. The decision was taken to amend the standing orders. It is not yet done, and I'll tell you, because at the meeting we had, it was not yet moved by the members, which included myself. The House leader, the opposition leader of business, met along with Speaker and then Deputy Speaker, and the decision was taken that at the immediate next meeting for our Standing Orders Committee review, it will be carried so that private members' motions are facilitated. I understand the House leader because it was such an important imperative to ensure that private members' motions are heard and given precedence. And so the change was made to facilitate it during the Tuesday, Wednesday sittings. So, Member Brownberg, I'll allow you now to speak, but I do understand the sense that the House leader has of how important it was to make the change in the standing order so that private members' motion could be better facilitated, and not just for the opposition. It is encouraged that both government members and opposition members continue to carry private members' motion to the House. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. What I said was exactly what I had intended to say. And I was trying, quite frankly, to be very accommodating and non-confrontational in what I said. And I'll give you the background to that. Last week, I did send a note out to ask for an update and to have us move more assiduously. Now, I did that without knowledge of what you have just said about the changes. So this is not being said and knowing that a decision was made and here I am grandstanding. No, it is because I feel strongly about it. Quite frankly, many of us on this side have given up on placing private members' motions. Some even questions because of how long it takes to have them heard. And so I said it against that background. And I feel strongly about it as one of those involved with a motion and with questions that are years old on the order paper.
Members, I will indicate that the House leader actually read a motion into the House. It is in the records for the change in the standing orders to facilitate same. Unfortunately, you may not have been in the House at that time and as such would have been unaware. So it is in train, and for that we have to commend the efforts of the House leader and the cooperation of the opposition leader of government business, or leader of opposition business in the House for doing so. So I thank the members. House Leader, I would ask that you carry on in respect of completing today's sitting. You haven't moved it. Did you move it? The motion is that this House do now adjourn for October 10th, that is Tuesday, October 10th at 2 p.m. sharp, at which you will also be having, I presume, 3 constituency debates as indicated. House, do you so move in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. This honorable House now stands adjourned.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.